Hey everybody, welcome back to another quick tips video. And in today's video, we are going to be looking at how to create a very quick and simple skybox for doing wardrobing or whatever you want to do. This actually was inspired by a friend of mine who was on last night, and she hadn't been on in a while, and she asked just a couple questions about creating a skybox quick. And so I thought this would be something that would be really quick and something that everyone kind of can benefit from. And so we are going to do that today. So I'm on my land here, and I've just got this little kind of small section here on my region with this new ugly club that they opened in the background. What I'm going to do is show you how to build a platform on the ground and then raise it up into the sky, and then just do a couple of other quick things with it to to make it useful. So let's take a look at that. So the first thing that I want to show everyone how to do, so right now if I kind of zoom out here a little bit, I know where basically my property is, but I don't know exactly where it is. And so the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to press Control Alt Shift and P. Control Alt Shift P. And that's going to turn on the parcel boundary lines on my region, so I can see exactly where my parcel sits. And apologies, my throat is still all scratchy and everything from when I was sick. So anyway, so I now can see exactly where my parcel goes, and I can come in here, and I'm just going to, right here on the ground level, just going to right click and build a very simple prim, because this is what we're going to use as the basis for our skybox. So I've got this here, I've got it selected, it's in edit mode. I'm going to switch over here to the object tab, and I'm actually going to make this 10 by 10 by 10, so it's really big. And once I have there, I want to basically stretch this out so it's either as big as it can be, which would be 64 by 64, or it matches up to the size of my skybox or my land here. And so I'm just going to go ahead and hold down Control and Shift on my keyboard, and I'll get these little boxes here at each side of the prim. I'm just going to drag this out, and this is why we have the lines on. This way I can line it up just perfectly with each of the lines. And again, as long as your parcel isn't bigger than 64 by 64, you can do it this way. If it is, then you just make it as big as you want it to be. Now, I make this tall because I want to be able to get past all of this height here. So I'm actually going to drag the blue arrow down a little bit, which should make it a little taller, so I can actually see exactly where these are. Because you don't get to see the boundaries once you get up into the sky. And so by doing this on the ground, I can see exactly where my skybox is, and I don't go over the edge anywhere. Okay. One more. Make sure I get down in here. And again, I'm just dragging Control Shift and then it's using the mouse to drag these out. Alright, so there we go. So now I've got this square, it fits perfectly on my parcel, and I can actually Control Shift again, and just now I can drag the bottom part of this up so that I'm back up to just like 0.5, which is a good kind of depth for your skybox. And if I hold the arrow over these white lines, it'll actually snap to that size, so I'll just snap it right there. Alright, so now I've got this platform, and it's obviously not way up in the sky, so let's move it to where it needs to go. So I'm going to go ahead and right click it again and choose Edit. And again on the Object tab right here at the top, this is the position. So this is the X coordinates on the region, this is the Y coordinates on the region, and the one we care about is the Z coordinate on the region, because that's the height above the ground level. And we're going to move it up. So a lot of regions in the Covenant have a restriction on where skyboxes can be. So if I go to World and About Land, I can look on my Covenant here, and it says skyboxes above 600 meters in the sky, so we can't see them. My region also says no clubs, so I'm not really sure about that one. But anyway, so we're going to go ahead and raise this one up. And I'm actually going to go ahead and put it at 850 meters. So I'm just going to type that in there and hit enter, and boom, it's gone. So it's way up in the sky at 850 meters. But how do I get up there to see what it looks like? So the trick to that actually is to come up here to the address bar, which has got the name of the region that you're in. Okay? And I'm going to click on that. And the very last number here is, these are the X and the Y coordinates, and this last number is the Z coordinate. So I put that at 850. I'm going to go ahead and put myself at 860 and press enter. And boom. There I am. Now I'm way up in the sky. And I happen to land right on top of my Skybox. So that's exactly what we want. Now, when you're choosing a Skybox, here's my recommendation. Don't put it up really, really high. The higher you go, the more odd the physics on the region gets. You end up with some kind of weird issues with lighting and so on. So what you want is to go at a height that makes sense for your region, and you want to follow the covenant and the rules and not go too high. And also you want to be able to sort of cam back and zoom back and make sure that there's nothing sort of nearby you. And even more importantly is make sure there's nothing right above you, because if there is, it's going to cast shadows potentially on your Skybox. So if I look up there, I can see there are these two things. There's a circular one and this rectangle here. And so those could cast shadows for me. And it doesn't look like it's too bad right now, so I'll probably go ahead and leave this where I am. But you can always come into your wind light and choose some different wind light settings just to see whether or not you get any odd shadows from things that are above you or to the side of you, just to make sure. And it doesn't look like so in this case. All right, so we're going to go ahead and leave the Skybox here. Now, really, you don't need to do anything else. I mean, you're set to go. And I didn't pull out a whole lot of textures, so I probably won't texture this here. But you can always edit your prim and come into the texture box and select a texture that you want to use. For our purposes right now, I'm going to leave it just like this. But you can go through and texture it. One thing I kind of like to do, and this is so totally just personal preference, but I always come to the bottom and I right click on it and I edit, and then I come up here and choose select face, and I select the bottom and I change the color to black. Now, for some reason it just seems to me like it looks better, I don't know, somehow just like it's better to have that black on the bottom. I don't know. It's kind of an aesthetics thing. So I always like to do that. So next, what I want to do is, a lot of people have seen my corner photo studio that I use. It's got the white background in it that I use for taking most of my wardrobe photos. And I want to show you really quick how I build those. And I actually build them right on top of my base platform. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to right click on my base platform again and choose edit. And I'm going to come up here to the little magic wand tool here, which is the build tool. And I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to click this box here, which says copy selection. And I'm going to leave it set on center copy. And what that means is when I come down here and I click this platform, it's going to create a second platform exactly the same on top of the first. So here's the original one at the bottom, and here's the brand new copy that just got created. So I've got this brand new copy, and I'm actually going to Control Shift again, and I'm going to make it a little smaller. I'm going to make this one 14, and if you look up at the top of my screen up here, you can see the size of this. So it's 0.5 meter tall. The Y coordinate is 14, and the X coordinate is still 31.7. But I'm going to go ahead and drag this. I'm just going to put it in the corner here. I'm going to go ahead and drag this until it's, let's say, also 14. There we go. So I've got this nice square platform. And that's kind of a big step up. So I'm going to go ahead and make this a little smaller. About like that. Alright, so I've got the bottom here, and I'm going to go ahead and right click and edit that piece. And I'm going to come in here to the texture. I'm going to click on my texture tab. And I'm going to make the texture on this blank. So it's just going to be white. I'll click OK. And I'm going to come up here and I'm going to click full bright. So now I've got this very bright, completely pure white background, at least on the bottom. So what do I need to do next? I need to make the walls. So I'm going to right click this again and edit, come up to my magic wand tool, still set to copy and center. I'm going to click just on top of the white box. And I'm going to have 2 of these white boxes. And I'm going to make sure I can select the top one. And I'm going to Control Shift with my mouse again. And I'm going to drag it over all the way to 0.5. So I've got a wall here that's about 0.5. Control Shift, hold on my mouse over the little blue box here, and I'm going to drag it up. So we're going to make ours about 6 meters tall. So there's a wall. And again, you don't have to work on aligning these because they're perfectly aligned, because it made that copy right on top of the other one. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and select this again, magic tool, click the bottom. Let's get out of my copy. I'll click to select it. So now you can see I've selected the top copy, not the bottom. And I'm going to drag it over till it gets to the 0.5. And Control Shift again, and come into my blue. And I'm going to make it 6 as well. All right. There you go. And now you can right click and edit and hold down the Shift key and select all 3 pieces of this. So I've got all 3 pieces selected, and I can choose link. And now it's just one big object. And I can stand out on this, like so. And then when I take background pictures, I get this nice pure white. And as I've shown in the past, you can see right up at the top here, see I've got this little bit of blue showing through. Here, I can move up a little bit. So see how I've got that blue shining through up there? If I go into my wind light, and I'm going to choose region setting. Oops. Nope, I'm not going to choose. I'm going to choose environment editor, environment settings, customize, fixed sky. And I'm going to make this be the Strawberry Sing close-ups. That blue sky goes away because the sky in her close-ups is completely white, which is why I use that. So you can't tell where the Skybox begins and where the Photo Studio begins, where the Photo Studio ends. And that way I don't end up with, you know, if I'm zoomed in like this, I don't end up with that little bit of blue at the top, even if it's just a corner. It's always just that pure white. Okay, so yeah, this is what I do, and this is all my Skybox is. And I've still got all this other room for pose stands, and whatever else I want out here. I can easily come over here and throw out my wardrobe pose stand, right click and edit it, and then pose. And if you edit it before you pose, then you can actually pick it up and drag it to where you want it to be. And I'll just maybe put it right over here in this corner. Something like that. But that's all there is to it. So that should hopefully teach you how to create a platform in the Skybox. And like I said, you can come in here and edit this bottom one. Let me see, I've got some textures yesterday actually. Here we go. Oh, I didn't open them yet. Anyway, but you can go in and you can select these. Let me see. Oh, perfect. I've got this wood right here. There we go. So you can go in and you can select them and texture it however you want. But that's all it is. And this is exactly, I mean, if you were to look at my actual Skybox, it basically looks just like this. So it only takes, let's see, we've been recording this for just about 15 minutes. So it only takes about 5 or 10 minutes to put one of these together and put it where you want it. And you're ready to go with your very own photo studio. So I hope this was useful and helpful to people. To my friend, I'll be sure to send you a link so you can see how I did it. And to everyone else, please let me know if you like this video, if you want to see more quick tips videos like this that are maybe not directly related to wardrobe or inventory management, but rather some of these broader topics just relating to getting things done in general. So I'll talk to everyone later. Thanks. Bye-bye.